Did you know that we're all born with a power? There's a power within all of us. And how we recognize this power within is that we breathe out. You notice that? When you breathe out, you recognize the power within. When you wake up and say, whew, you just recognize, man, I got power. I got power to live. And this power that's within us, all of us are born with this power. But not a lot of us are used to allowing that strength, because that's what it is, to come out. We'll have that strength within us. We know it's in us, but it's only a great percentage of us to bring it out. Those that bring it out have to deal with the law of gravity. They have to deal with the challenges. But when they start to face these challenges, they're starting to recognize certain steps they can and cannot take. Because the law of gravity tells you when. It tells you when to walk. The law of gravity explains the action to the strength. Yes, you have to react to the law of gravity. And you have to show a sense of strength respectfully to the law of gravity. But when you learn the strengths and what you can and cannot do with your strengths, then you start moving in that likeness. You don't move in the dislike. You don't move in the area where your strengths can't grow. You move in the area of the likeness, because you know that if you move the wrong way with this gravity, then there's a reaction. So when you learn reaction, then you learn how to balance out this strength during this time where your strength is meeting gravity. When the strength meets gravity, gravity tells it what it can and cannot do. Now what you have to do is name these strengths. And that comes to this point that I want to bring you to, which is branding. How you brand yourself is that you have to learn your strengths. But watch this. You cannot just have a strength, and you're not just going to learn strength, but you're going to learn wisdom during the time of the law of gravity. When you learn to do things according to gravity, you're using wisdom. You're making wise decisions when you know you're using this strength. And in this decision making, you're learning to build and to grow and to name these strengths. So it's like going into a gym, and you go to a gym and you say, I'm going to do triceps today. Then the strength that I'm building, I'm going to name it tricep. I'm going to do biceps today. Then the strength that I'm naming is bicep. If you're going into a library and you're going to read, then you're going to learn a mental strength. If you're going into the Bible, then you know you're going into a spiritual strength. Now you just name these strengths. So now you have branded these strengths. You have named them and created a brand for them. This is what we want to do. We want to brand ourselves. We want to brand the name. But the name is nothing without the strength of the subject that comes behind it. The name starts out as a subject, becomes an object. But the object can be more stronger than the person that made the name. The brand is built because of the subject. So the subject must be recognized. I'm going to use biblical terms on this one. Israel's son Joseph went into Egypt, was kidnapped, became king, brought all his family there. When he brought his family there, he was branded and named for his strengths, and Pharaoh recognized him and allowed his family to come move there. But when there was a new Pharaoh that moved in, he didn't recognize the family. He hated the children of Israel, and their name were Israelites. See that? Israel had branded himself where he built ites. He built a group. He built corporations. He built a name that will go across the nation, across the world, that will live for generations and generations and generations to come. How many of us want to build the brand and not just have the strength within. It makes no sense to live if you're not going to breathe. It makes no sense to acknowledge that you're talented if you're not going to use the talents. It makes no sense to build a skill if you're not going to be skillful. You have the traits to be great, to do great things, to have a great name. You're in a position of being an entrepreneur and an intrapreneur. But nobody know who you are if you don't build the brand. Your brand is an action from who you are. Once your strength meet gravity, it has now accepted the actions that it can take during this time of the law of gravity. It's time for you to build your brand, but you got to know your strength. And then once you recognize them, make wise decisions to grow them. Build your brand today. Know your strengths. React to gravity accordingly and watch your group, your team, your corporation, your name grow. You can do it.